and I spent about 6 years in the hotel industry, about 1992 until 1997. I worked at the Halcyon Hotel, management positions, and then I went up to Heron as the general manager. And then in 2004, I left the hotel business to work for KFC as the general manager here from 2004. No, from 1997 to 2004.
Yeah, okay, man, that's what's wrong.
2015, I left Antigua in 2007, 2007 or 2004? 2004, I left Antigua to become the regional manager for KFC in the US. So for the last 15 years, I've been the franchise business manager for the Caribbean for KFC, covering all the islands until I came back in 2019. Since coming back, I had entrepreneurial development fund. We've been lending money to small businesses, providing training and support. So far, we have loaned for small business over $4 million right here in Antigua and Barbuda. And I also teach part-time at the University of the West Indies at the Five Islands campus, where I teach students who are doing their degrees. I teach business strategy and policy. So I'm very passionate about helping and sharing information so that people can be successful. And the main reason why I have that approach is because people also help me along the way. So this is very important for me. This is who I am. I'm very informal, and I want you to recognize that I welcome feedback. I welcome your own thoughts and experience. I don't have all the knowledge. You have experience. If something is not clear, don't be shy. Say to me, not clear, please explain. Help me to understand better. Because like I said, I'm here to make it work. I want to try to keep it at your level. You have to say to me, this is above my head. You need to make it simple for me. So we're going to work together. No one is going to be left behind. So that is basically who I am in terms of my own experience. Okay, so let me go back here. Let me see what's going here. So my question for you is, I want to get to know you just a little bit. So tell me about yourself, what you do, and why you're here, so I can understand your perspective, so I can make sure I'm here to meet your needs. Can I start here? What do you do while you're here? Yes.
I'm a science teacher.
Yes.
Like 7 years. Own my own business, unique red stocks where I'm here. So, conversation aspects of business. So I guess it's all
Very nice. Delighted to have you. Thank you. Great sacrifice. Yeah.
the rest also.
Yeah. That's nice. Yes. Yes. Like that. Yes. Praise the Lord. Thank Yes. Very nice. Yes. Yes. Very impressed. Diverse. Yes. 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 Oh. That's nice. That's incredible. So we have a wide range of experience here. We can learn from that's great.
Hi, my name is Eric.
Yes. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah.
My name is Sarah.
Very nice. Right over here. Very nice. Farmer. Yeah. Idea. Yes. So that's nice. That's nice. Yourself? Yes. What kind of farming do you do? Agriculture. Crop farming? Very nice. Where do you have your farm? Beg your pardon? Orange Valley. That's a nice place to have a farm. Yourself? Yes. Crop farming. That's nice.
Tremaine Rogers, and I have a few bees.
All right, keep it. And is my little friend down here doing some farming too? Not yet, right? Not yet. So listen, it's very interesting to me. That's great. All female, and guess what? You also have a diverse experience, and that's great. Teaching, banking, and that's great. So when we're able to bring folk together like this, it helps us to learn more, and we can help and support each other. So that's very good. Thank you for sharing. Now, expectations are, but let me explain to you where I think I might be able to scratch the itch. And if I'm not scratching the itch, you have to say to me, no, you're not scratching the itch, because I want to make sure we're and to you. So in terms of managing expectations, these are some of the topics that we will cover. So ultimately, you're coming up because you have the same mindset, you're in the same industry, and you have the opportunity to do something which I call not only entrepreneurship, but social responsibility, reforestation, open farms, etc. And the best way in which you can work together as a cooperative. So at some point in time, we're going to have the opportunity to form a cooperative so you guys can stay together. Is that a good thing for us to do? Are you guys committed to that? Fantastic. And so we're going to talk about cooperatives. What are cooperatives? Because cooperatives are what I would call a type of registered organization. Give it some respectability for persons to recognize what, for you to get incentives, duty-free imports and so forth. It's better to have something as really registered. And here's the good news. Good news is you don't necessarily need persons to register. You can start your own business and have it registered, but you can have a cooperative that will look after the interests of the organization, which I think is a good thing. And so we will work together, so we can get a cooperative registered so that you will be able to benefit from that cooperative. We will explain to you why persons normally want to start a cooperative and why persons would join a cooperative, because you need to know that's something that we say that we're trying to push on you, but we need to have an idea of what these cooperatives are about. And there are a few cooperatives, for example, many of you may not be aware, the St. John's Cooperative Credit Union is a type of cooperative in the banking industry. Yeah, Police has a credit union, and it's also integrated. And if you read the preamble to these cooperatives, they basically form, look after the membership of their, or the welfare and the well-being of their members. Teachers Credit Union started the same, and you see what they have become. So who is to tell what your cooperative becomes once you invest in the right way and you can bring others along with you? So I'll explain to you some of the benefits of the cooperatives, why people join cooperatives, the role and responsibilities of members. These things are outlined in law, but we will make it easy. So once we start the cooperatives, we have to have some persons taking responsibility to be like the lead person, to set, treat take notes, etc. And you have to be able to manage the finances, manage the books, and everything there. But I think that there are tremendous benefits to be had, to be gained by starting a cooperative. So we'll explain the benefits of cooperatives. This may sound a little bit technical for some of you. Don't let the big words scare you. Once we start a cooperative, we have to have a plan, a business plan to be able to manage the cooperative so that the cooperative will go out and act in our interest. The cooperative can make money and that you will benefit. All of the benefits that come from the cooperative will come back to you, the members. That's what it's there for. So I look forward to the day that you may have a vision where you've started, but your vision is to see a cooperative that grows and blossoms and that you can prosper in your business, get the seeds that you need, get the systems that you need, because you have an organization that is looking after the interests of its members. Typically, and you will have to tell me when we're ready to form the cooperative, whether or not you want it to be a non-profit cooperative or you want it to be a profit cooperative. You will decide. I don't get to decide. You tell me. I'll explain to you the pros and the cons. What are the benefits of having a non-profit? What are the benefits of having a profit cooperative? But ultimately, the main reason why a cooperative gets started is to look after the interests of its members. So the policemen came together a long time ago. It's over 40 years old. It's one of the first credit unions in Antigua. And they're saying basically, what can we do as a group of policemen working in the government to increase our financial position? And that is why they formed the cooperative, and that is why they have grown. The Teachers Credit Union over there, that is also a cooperative. That's the way they started. But they have grown and expanded. So I want you to have a big vision as to what your business can become. And we will explain the cooperative, and you're going to achieve any objective. Let's assume that you're growing your coconut and that you are making a variety of different products. You may want to start to expand and take your business overseas, St. Croix, St. Thomas, where they pay US dollars for natural stuff. Then you have to have a marketing plan, a marketing strategy. You don't need to worry about it because I'm going to help you. I'm going to put a marketing plan together so that you can grow your business, so that your business can become a lot more successful. So we're going to start the corporate, but I'm taking you along the journey with me. I'm not giving you something to say, we're going to work together to get this done, because at the end of the day, you're the owners, you're the boss who will run this particular program. Are you tracking with me so far? You anywhere along the way? All right, very good. So we're going to do the marketing, and we're going to have a plan where we record our income and expenses. I'm delighted that we have a banker here, and I'm sure she'll be happy to say, you know what, I'll be financial secretary for the organization to ensure that we keep a record of income and expenses and show what. And guess what? Here's the good news about cooperatives. Everyone gets a vote. So if you have 15 members and you put something for vote, it's the majority rule. Isn't that a good thing? Yeah. Majority, so you can decide. If you don't like what the leader is doing, you can say, hey, it is not doing the right thing. Let's not vote for this. Let's vote against that. So these are some of the things that we will cover. Financial fundamentals. And then last piece would be the mentoring piece. The mentoring piece is saying, if we have a child, we experience some difficulties, is there someone that we can talk to who will help us and guide us? And so I'm committing myself to give you that seed so that when the cooperative is up and running and things are not running so smooth, you can always call me and say, come and reach us. We have a challenge, we have an idea, what you think about us, and I'm more than happy and delighted to be able to do that for the corporate. Here's what I want to say at this juncture. I'm really delighted, excited that you are here. And I tell you, this calls for a lot of commitment. Also a lot of commitment. Therefore, who may have a job after 5, after 4, they will go home and they watch television. But you have demonstrated by your presence here that you are committed to this project. And I really feel excited about that. I want to say to you, stay the course. Stay the course for 2 main reasons. One, you're going to learn more about business than you knew before. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to go to university to learn certain things. You can learn from your own experience. You can learn from someone else. So I recently spoke to a lady, came to me, borrowed some money for her little business. She came before and she's been paying faithfully, paying her loan. It's interesting. She's actually Jamaican. She's smart. She hustles. She's been here a long time. But I'll tell you something. So she came back to me and she says to me, I'm looking to buy a little house and I've already paid on and some. She showed me the receipts. And she says, I've already saved up to start to build my house. And she has a little hostel business. She's selling t-shirts and other things and so forth. And I said to her, you're very smart. She comes, Joseph, what do you think about this? I have this idea. What do you think I should do? And she's trying to get knowledge. And I say to her, you're very smart. You're very smart. She's smart. Nice. Been to college, never been to university. And I asked her, where do you get all of this knowledge about business, how to run your business, how to invest? So she told me, and I lived in Jamaica when I was in college. She says to me, I'm from Mandeville, and my mom was a higgler. What do you mean? Vendor. She was a vendor, was a higgler. And she would sell not only vegetables, but she would go down to places like Curacao and buy clothing at the free zone and live with Mandeville. Mandeville takes a 4 drive. She says, early in the morning, from age 9, 10, Mommy used to carry us. We had to go into the ice truck. Was carrying ice, carrying vegetables, carrying goods. And she said, I would go with my mom and I would stay down at Coronation Market in downtown Kingston and watch how they hustle and watch how they do business and watch how her mommy made some money and put aside something here and put aside something there. That's where she learned her business. And I will tell you, she has been very successful. The amount of time she's been here, about 12 years, and what she has been able to accomplish with me is phenomenal. What is the message? There is knowledge everywhere. So you don't have to have a degree to be successful in entrepreneurship. Where did she learn that from? She learned that from her mom. She became street smart. And you have an opportunity to build something for yourself and to build something for your children. Because you're investing in yourself and you're investing in your children so that when you're ready, when you grow tired, you can pass it on and they're able to learn and make that. You also can share with them what you have learned here about how to manage your money, how to invest, how to market your business. So I thank you and applaud you for coming. And these are some of the things that we'll share. And then I really honestly want to be here for you along the way. Mentoring is important. Luckily, in my office is just across the street. Right? It's coming down here. Whenever you need time for questions. So my commitment to you is that after we finish after 8 weeks, I'll give you my cell phone number. I'll have you have a personal challenge, I can help. If you need a loan and you need to come through, I can help. And the Entrepreneurial Development Fund. So I'm really excited and committed to what you're trying to do, and I want you to be comfortable that I'm basically here to help. Let me keep going. Now, based upon expectations, we're going to be here from 12th October, right? until 31st December, right? 31st December. But like I said, I'll give you my number. You have me, you know where to find me. Entrepreneurial Development Fund. I'm at the Sagicor building. If you need a loan, that's where you find me, right? But I'm going to be mentoring the group. I don't want the group to be dissolved. I had seminar today on a Kurt whole day today, talking about as they get ready to open up the season, how to provide great customer service. I talk about that is very important. They're not very well known for good teamwork in the team. We want to change that. We want to work together. Make things away. But that's a good question. So, and here you're gonna love me for saying this. Question is, what is the interest rate on the loan? So we have three different types of interest rate. 1% anything related to agriculture. 1%. That's like giving you free money. 1%.
How much of those loans are accepted?
I'll tell you in a minute. You're getting excited.
How many
Walk with me.
loans actually get up?
Let's walk. Don't worry.
Walk, let's walk.
Yeah, I'm here to help you. Those questions, I love those questions. I'm here to work with you. So the maximum you pay, maximum you can pay, and any loan that we offer is 3%. Maximum. Agriculture 2%, but the maximum you pay is 3%. Now, you asked a very important question, and I think I'm going to address that question now because yes, very important question. Those are the questions I like. And like I say, while I'm here, I'm teaching on a topic. That's not what you want. Ask a question. I can go back on topic. Let me explain to you. Very important. Since the program started, we have loaned approximately $4 billion to small business. That's a lot of money in a small island, right? Because when I look at the list of businesses that are registered with the Chamber of Commerce or the Employees Federation, it's about 150. Some of them may not still be in operation. So to lend $4 million to persons who are beginners, small enterprises, I think let me explain qualification process. That is so important. I want to explain what let me go to B, borrow money to start the business. That ACB is coming from somebody who has deposited the money in the bank. ACB money. So when so all the money that ACB has, the millions and millions of dollars, is savings. So I carry $100. I say, ACB, hold this to me, and I come back through it at some time. You come in to borrow, ACB is going to take up my money to lend you. If the lend money and the business don't work out, and we have to prevent that from happening, it's what we call the 5 C's of money. Let me tell you what it is. 1C says it's called the capital. How much money are you seeking to borrow? So let me give you an example. You're doing chicken farm, and you say to me, how much can you lend? People ask me that all the time, and I smile when they ask me that. So let's assume you want to buy feed, to buy some chicks from Jamaica, and you want to build another pen. Should have the invoices to the man. But I'm a businessman. I know how much it costs. So if I know that the feed, the hen, the medicine, and the chicks will cost 50,000, and you say to me, lend me 100,000, you're borrowing $50,000 more. Am I making sense? When I ask you, okay, if the business only needs 50,000, why are you borrowing 100,000? And sometimes I get an answer. I am trying to keep a little cushion in case something goes wrong. That's a red flag. So banks don't lend money for if something would go wrong. So the amount you're seeking to borrow must always match what the business needs. Am I making sense? Don't go and ask for 30 and you know that you only need 20 because you want to go shopping in Puerto Rico. Hello now. Some people do that. So that's one of the first C. The amount you're seeking to borrow. Now, the more money you're seeking to borrow is the higher the risk for the bank. What that means? Bank can easily recover $10,000, but it's harder to recover $100,000. And so because there's a risk that the business may fail, through no fault of yours, they have to cover the risk. And that is why they ask for the next C, which is what? Collateral. Piece of land, house and land, maybe a vehicle. Yes? They don't like to do it. You can also use what we call a bill of sale on the equipment. I do that all the time. So a guy is fishing, he's a fisherman, engine is damaged. The engine basically costs $40,000. He doesn't have house, he doesn't have land. He can take a bill of sale on the engine so that if he doesn't pay, we go back and take back the engine and sell it to recover the money. So great question. The expectation that any financial institution, including the government, will lend you money and we know there's a risk, we just can't do it. That would not be responsible. So every application is evaluated, and the first C, capital, which is the amount you're seeking to borrow. It must match what the business needs, not what you feel you should borrow or how much we can lend. No. But what the business needs. The second C is the collateral, cover the risk. The third C is a critical C, your credit history. A long time ago, we never had credit history in Antigua. We have credit history now. What that means, it may not tell you, but I'm going to tell you. When you go to ACB to borrow a little money, you have to carry your ID, passport, driver's license, your name and your date of birth, and they send an email. All of the other banks say, Garfield Joseph has come to me to borrow some money from me. Tell me if he has ever borrowed from you and whether or not he has repaid. That's a credit report. And if you have borrowed and have not repaid, the next one is not going to let you because they're going to say, hey, if he borrowed from over here and he's not paid over there, why is he coming over here? Am I making sense?
Yes.
So the banks may not tell you, say, Lord, it's not approved, but it's the credit history that you have. That's the next thing. So maybe, yes?
What if, for example,
Yes?
but it's so
Yes. That's a great question. Love that. So there are two things you ought to do. One, you need to make sure you can go back to the institution and get a letter so that you have no issue, and make sure you disclose to the person you're going to, you know what? So I had an issue, but the issue is now resolved because it's going to be in the credit check. I have two cases. I'll come with you in a bit. I have two cases. Number one, where a person had an outstanding balance at one of the local banks, $125. When he came to me, I said, this is the report. And he says to me, I was not aware. And it's about 10 years ago, $425. And it was clear to me that that was the monthly amount that he paid. And it was clear to me that something happened and his balance, so he missed one payment. Truth is, that should not really affect his credit history. So I called the bank, explained to him that he should go, and they gave him a letter to print to me to say that the bank has no problem with this particular person, and it was clear. I have another case where a woman borrowed some money with a person at courts, and there was an outstanding balance she signed here for someone. It's about 7 years ago, but the record is still there. So I said to her, go back to court, explain your situation if you've been truthful. And they gave a letter to her to say, look, we no longer have any interest in this outstanding amount. So the question is a good question. Don't leave it hanging. I believe in having the right ethical values. If you know something is wrong, say it up front, because they're not going to tell you, and then you're going to waste your time carrying all the documents and you still get denied. You had a question.
Yeah, okay. We've been talking about different persons,
Yes.
individual experiences.
Yes.
This is going to be a above
Yes.
lady.
Yes.
How do we now come to you with monies to help us with this? Once we start getting coconut and we decide that we all of us want to go into this and do coconut cake, how do we then come to you with that? If we are already a group, a company, or a company or whatever, and we're coming to an entrepreneurial thing to borrow money.
Yeah, that's
How
a,
does that work for a group?
yeah, that's a great question. That's a really, really good question. Thank you for asking. Let me explain to you. That's why I have to walk you through the process. There are different businesses. Yeah. The ship. Me, I am liable for all. So if your business as a sole proprietor, somebody had an accident and they will ask for damages, they're suing you for your sole proprietorship. If you have a limited liability company, a partnership, then you are somewhat exempt from certain liabilities. So you have to think it through. In the case of a cooperative, that's a very important question. In the case of a cooperative, the directors can be liable for acting illegally. So there's some legal implications, and I'll explain that, because the responsibility is that not you're going to be liable because you didn't do anything wrong. But if, for example, you have directors and directors decide to steal the money or to use the money for the that has nothing to do with you. Am I making sense? However, this is very important. I like the question. Non-nationals are not allowed. The Entrepreneurial Development Fund program can come. Yes, a cooperative can come and borrow money, not only from the EDP, but from other financial institutions. And you're not going in there in your personal capacity. You're going in there as well. Does that answer your question? You have options, but I will give you ensure that it's written and the rules and procedures and so forth are known. So for example, coming to you, you could not go and open up a cooperative and borrow money unless you first brought it to the membership to get a vote that gives you permission to go. Am I making sense?
Yes, that's
very important. Very important.
So it would the procedure be the same as somebody who's coming individual?
Yes and no, because if I'm coming in my own personal capacity, I'm going to be required to have my business registration, application form, business plan, financial projection, character reference, and so forth. If you're coming as a cooperative, You don't need a character reference. You just need your business registration. You need to have a letter signed by the secretary to say that at a meeting held on January 12th, the cooperative authorized the president and the secretary to come borrow $100,000. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So I will lead you through those things and those procedures. There you go.
Sorry. I don't want to put my should not be said. Let's say, for example, our customer comes in who wants to know
Yes.
their debt to income, which is already.
Yes.
However, they are working still and see the other parts that they have a supplementation to that the pages will accept that, but you have to sign.
Okay, great question. In my evaluation of a loan, the debt to income ratio is not important to me. It is important to the banks because they're not doing what we do. We are funding persons to start their own business. And I want you to think about it. One of the main reasons why a person wants to start his own business is because he realizes he needs to make what? More money. So if you don't get a chance to make more money, how your income is going to exceed or increase? So that's a great question. But in our approach, the debt to income ratio is not important. It's not one of the C's that I use. Why? Because as long as I'm covering the risk, I'm good. That's why the business model is important. That's why the financial forecasting. But generally speaking, that's what the bank does. Because why is the bank doing this? The bank is doing this because they don't want to take risks with other people's money. Do you understand? So they're saying if your debt to income ratio is already high, what does that mean? I have all this debt already, and I have very low income, and I'm taking on more debt, and the business may or may not work. That's why they look at debt to income ratio. But in my instance, I'm here for entrepreneurship. That's the mandate. So I'm not giving away the money, but I never look at the debt to income ratio. It's not a consideration. 5 C's I told you about is what I look at. So that's a great question. Beg your pardon? Capital you seek tomorrow. Credit history,
Collateral.
character,
No, we didn't do character. We did collateral.
let me tell you again. Capital, first C, which is the amount you're seeking to borrow. Collateral to cover the risk. Credit history is 3. The next one is conditions facing the business. And the last 6, so you can have your list of 5. I'm getting tired. Is your capacity to repay the loan. I use up the capacity to repay, which is what the bank is using as your calculation. That's a great question. You guys are bright people here. So the capacity to repay is based upon the business plan that I review and whether or not I believe that you stand a good chance of making enough money from the business in order to repay the loan. Or, and this is something we do, I could do a salary deduction. So for example, you work with the government and I can take out the 200 a month and stretch it out for a long time, or you have a son who works with the government, I can use that as capacity to repay rather than the debt to income ratio. Am I making sense? To help you stretch it out, because we're here to help folks, to give them a leg up, to give them an opportunity so that they can be successful at what they do. So those are your 5 C's. I didn't explain. Yes.
There's a question.
Sure.
Go ahead, ask your question, please. Are
Hello?
you hearing?
Is there a phone mute? They may need that.
Go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Yes,
I have a question now on the financial part.
yes,
I have a serious problem with the financial institutions
mhm,
with monies. For instance, I have let me say I have 15,000 in the bank.
yes,
I haven't withdrawn any monies like 10 years.
yes,
And the I am going to the bank now to, well, no, before I go there, yes, I have withdrawn any monies from that 15,000 for 10 years. Now, within that 10 years, the amount that I get on that 15,000, I have a problem with that. For instance, if I go into the bank and I have 15,000 already on the bank, and I borrowed 10,000, the interest rate that I'm going to pay on that 10,000, it is so ridiculous that it have me wondering, should I take my money to the bank, keep putting the money in the bank when you're not getting, look at the amount that you get per year on that 15,000. And then I have to go to the bank to get 10,000, how much I have to pay per month for that 10,000 to pay back that 10,000. Can you shed some light on that for me? Because I've been baffling with that for
all right.
how long
Yes,
now?
yes, I can. And you've asked a very deep question. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, right? So let's look at what banks do and how banks make money. What do banks do? Banks take other people's money.
My money, my money, my money, my money and others.
Stay with me. Stay with me. Let's track together. So banks, basically, this is how they operate. This is their business model. Banks take other people's money for safekeepings. So when you want it, you can go back to get it. They don't want you to keep it under the bed. And they say, look, if I have all of this money and the incentive for you to bring your money is maybe a 1% or 2% on a fixed deposit, that they want money. And they say, you know what? I'm going to take that money that I'm holding for you, lend it to somebody else at 6%. So if I pay you 2% and I charge 6%, I'm going to get a profit of 4%. The only two ways banks make money, only two ways, with fees and with interest payment, right? And guess what? They have to pay the employees. They have to rent the building, build the building. So they have to have a model where they're always making more money from the loan rather than what they're paying out. If they were paying out more money for what they're keeping, it wouldn't make sense because it would be their money that they're paying out. And that is why interest rate, which is what we call a spread, is always higher than the interest payment. So I'm going to teach you the fundamentals of investing. So sometimes you have to make a decision. If you have a little gratuity payment of 50,000, is it better to keep it in the bank where you get 1% interest? Or should you build a little house, 2-bedroom, and put it in the rent where you make $500 a month for the next 40 years? That's a decision you need to make, but you have to do the math. So I understand you're feeling the frustration about the banks, but that's the way.
If I have 15,000,
yes,
why I'm going to bank to borrow it?
Well, it
Okay,
depends.
that high interest rate. I use what I have and then.
Well, it depends. Let me tell you.
What I have, build a house, we can rent
Right.
get back.
It depends. Okay, let me take a question over here. Yes.
No, that's 10. So she's wondering why should I get? But she have the money here. But you have to. So you have.
It goes in a pot. Your 15,000 already lent to somebody already.
I know, but I have at 50,000, I'm borrowing 10, 19,000 together.
But you're still gonna pay the interest, because that's how they make the money.
Why should you pay that amount of interest?
Because as I just explained, no, it's not a matter of regulation. No, stay with me. It's not a matter of regulation. Remember, listen carefully. Very important. If all of us kept our monies at home, we have a risk. People come in, steal, house burned down, money gone. Are you with me? So we go to the banks to keep our money there so that it is safe. No, stay with me. So you keep your money there because it is safe. And it costs the bank money to keep your money safe. They have to pay for security. They have to pay for light. They have to pay for employees. They have to have a building. It's costing money. Where that money is going to come from? They're in business. So the only way in which they can make money is to take your money and lend to somebody and say, I'm going to charge you an interest payment. And the interest payment that you're giving me will help me to pay. Thank you very much. That is why.
Mr. Joseph,
Yes.
you have your money at the bank,
Yes.
and for you to have access 24/7
Yes.
thing, they give you a card.
Yes.
And to get that money out
Yes.
of the ATM, you still have to pay them service charge every
Yeah.
month.
Do you know why?
For your own, to take your own.
Do you know
money,
why?
you have access to your own money.
Do you know why? You know why they charge
Exactly.
you? Do you know why they have to charge you for using the ATM?
Service.
Huh?
Service.
The paper costs money. The ink costs money. The electricity that runs 24/7 costs money. And they're not going to be
Just to
taking
control
money
it your own money.
pay for the service that you're getting. And that is why they have to recover that cost. Let me close with this. Let me say this. You run a business. And when you have to do, let's say you do beekeeping, and you grow the honey, you grow the bees, you have to feed them, you have to give them medicine, you have to buy packaging, you have to buy label, you have to do marketing, and you have all of these costs. And if you don't recover those costs, you could be the best honey keeper in the whole wide world. You're out of business because you're not getting enough revenue to cover your expenses. Same thing with the bank. So the bank is looking at all of the things they have to pay for and say, if we're not able, that's why banks go to business bankrupt, because they have people's money. They have not used it in the right way, invested in the right way, and they end up in trouble. And so that is the reason why. I know it sounds painful, but I'm explaining to you how financial institutions work. I don't like it, but like I said, before we leave, we're going to cover a topic, how to invest and knowing when to invest. And I think you'll be able to benefit from that. Yes, my dear?
But why is it that some banks take off the charge? The charge is like that. They still put it. So I'm wondering,
Yeah.
why is that?
And the same reason why I just explained, it's costing the banks more money. Let me explain something to you, right? Banks today are not what they used to be. Let me explain something to you. Listen carefully. A long time ago, we used to go to the bank. They used to give us a little passbook. Remember that? And they used to write down the deposits there. In those days, we didn't have any debit card. Your debit card in the wrong hand could mean the bank has liability and people go online because your account is there. So it's costing them a lot more to be able to protect the money that they have. So costs continue to go up. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that the banks here are charging a whole lot of money and the service is so crappy, right?
The service fee alone.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the service fee.
But that's something we're gonna have to live with until government change legislation. Yes. And that is why the cooperatives help, because with more voices, you can talk about some of the challenges you're having as entrepreneurs. But those questions are good questions, and we're going to talk about how to invest and how to grow your money so that you can, when you make that nice little investment from your coconut palms, how to use the money and spend the money. Are we doing well so far?
Why is it that banks now are taking equitable lending money by a car
Yes.
than it is to build a house?
Yes. Can I tell you why? That's a great question. So they have less risk with the car, and they have more turnover, more profit on the car. Why? Because if you have a car, they're going to charge you a high interest rate, and it's not going to be 15, 20 years. 15, 20 years, anything can happen. Who knows what's going to happen between year 1 and year 15 or year 30? Are you with me? But I know that a car loan, 5 years, chances are you'll be okay. And if you don't pay, I'll sell that car because they always need car break down. Houses don't break down, land don't break down. So it's going to take a long time. Does that make sense? So it's more profitable for them. Not saying that it's the right thing for them to do the car because generally small amount, high interest, and they can recover if you don't pay back and sell that car to someone else. In 30 years, and I tell you this, in 30 years, most people don't pay off for their mortgage. If you take out the mortgage at age 40, and by the time you get to age 70, you're already retired 5 years. You may not have enough income to continue that loan. When I came back from Antigua in 2019, right, but that's what I'm saying. When I came back in 2019, I started. Let me tell you why. That's a great question. Same question I had. When I came back in 2019, I started driving around Crosby's, Hodges Bay, and so forth. Nice area. And the thing that struck me, saw houses that I left 15 years ago that now had wild camera and goats inside of them. And I was shocked. And I have my friend who works at the bank. And I asked him, and when I was here, or before, I didn't hear about 30-year loan. It was 15 years. And then I asked him, because I'm seeking knowledge, explain to me why you guys moved from 10 years and 15 years to 30 years. You know what he told me? So that more people can qualify, because if we keep it at 10 to 15 years, they can't afford the interest payment. Now, banks want you to have a shorter term, because the longer the term is, the more risk. How many houses can come in 30 years? Maybe one come in 10 years, but maybe you get 3 in 30 years. So in order for them to grow and make money, they're giving you. He told me, this is true story. He told me one lady came in. She was 80-something years of age. And she said, sir, I've been paying here a long time. How many till I can now be 80? He said, Mama, 30 years again. At age 50. Are you with me? So that is why you have to be careful. We're going to do the course and the fundamentals of investing. So they want to make money. So they're going to give you the 30-year loans, because if you don't pay back, by the time you reach 15 years, they already made back all the money from the interest. And they're going to take that property and sell it to somebody else and make more money again. And when they give that first 30 years and they don't pay back, they already made back. And they're going to sell it again. So you have to be very, very careful. You have some very interesting questions. And that's where the cooperative can help you to reduce your risk. You pool your little money together and take care of the expenses. Are we tracking together?
Yes.
All right. So I was here. I like those questions, right? So we have approximately 8 weeks, right? In the 8 weeks that we have, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. I'm flexible. Try to be on time. Start early, we finish early. Want to have a lot of respect for each other. All of us are not in the same place. We're not moving at the same pace. So I want to take all of us with us. The strong help the weak. Teach as much as you can so that we're all tracking together. want to learn from each other, share your experience. Experience is a great teacher, and there is no substitute for experience. Some children go to college and university, but they don't have your knowledge. And I want you to share your knowledge. Knowledge is not just book knowledge. Knowledge is what you have experienced, so we can all benefit each other. Make sure that we can challenge each other and accept our differences. We don't have to agree on everything. I may have a different point of view based upon my own experience. You may have a different point of view based upon your own experience, right? So this is how we wish to work together. Love each other, support each other, be here for each other. So that's what I wanted to introduce to you today in our first session. But I want to go back to something here that I looked at. Now, these are the topics that I believe will help you going forward. I have absolutely no preference one way or the other. If we start with this one, that one, this one, doesn't matter to me. I'm not here for my agenda. I am here for your agenda. And if there's something that is not on the list that you think is important, you tell me. If you don't give me any direction, then I say that you have given me license to drive the car. But I want to make sure that we're scratching the itch. You tell me what you need, where we need to start. Go ahead, teacher. Yes. And tell me when you want to do that. So you listen. I went to let me say it now. I'm not throwing stones, but I have to help you. I went to CUB. I believe it was you were there, last Wednesday. And I heard something very interesting, and it almost pained my heart to hear that. So listen. Huh? Huh? Let me explain to you. No, nobody did anything wrong. One of the presentations about packaging, person who presented said that packaging costs for the label costs in some of the goods was between, I believe he said 30 and 40%.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make any sense, right? Let me explain to you what that means. Let me explain to you what this means. Person saying, in Antigua today, so we have to change that. That is the reality. I will help you to fix that. The person is saying that to sell this bottle of water for $1, water and the bottle is 60 cents, and the label is 40 cents. Does that make sense?
That's what.
Yeah.
That's what.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
You must know,
Yeah.
isn't how it goes.
Yeah.
The bottle is $1,
Yes.
label is
Is what?
$86. So just
That's an issue. And let me tell you why it's an issue. And it's a very, and we'll talk it through. Look, so in business, I want to remember two things. Ultimately, who gets the vote? The man making the product or the man buying the product? No. You have something out there to sell. Look, this is your bottle of water. This is my bottle of water. Both of them on the shelf. Who gets to decide which one moves? Huh? The buyer all the time. So these two things are there. This one, that's one of them on the same side. All of them on the shelf. The bottle of water. 85 cents, $1. Who gets to decide which one should go first? The consumer. And what is it that determines which one he would choose?
Packaging.
Let me tell you why. Let me ask you a question. No,
Yes.
look, okay, let's chat together. And this is critical. Look,
That's the country just.
no, stay with me now. Stay with me.
Yeah.
That is very important, especially for the business and for the corporate, right? In any kind of enterprise, we have different kinds of consumer. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
We have what we call mass market. We have what we call niche market. How many Mercedes and BMW you see driving in Antigua? More than Nissan and Vitz?
No.
Would you say that in this market is because those cars are not the best cars?
No.
Is why they're not buying them? Because they cannot
That's
afford it.
why I say the company.
Wait, stay with me. You-
Determine the only
No,
data.
no, stay with me, let's walk together. So a consumer is making a decision based on price and what? Is what? Is pocket. So it does not matter whether or not I have the best product with the best packaging. If I cannot afford it, then I'm not going to be able to buy it. Is that common sense? Wait.
Like myself, I got to put her in the business right now.
Watch me. Listen up, walk with me. You get to go, right? Listen up, stay with me. So listen. Let me explain. Listen. Look. Okay, listen. Look. Listen up. There is something also we call share of profit. What does that mean? When a person gets $100, that person's mind, they're beginning to take out something out of the $100. Food, cell phone, rent. Yeah, it's called share pocket. And hold on. Hold on, listen up, save me. I want you to understand. So you're not only competing for your nice bottled water with a nice label, you're comparing against bus money. You're competing against lunch kit for the child and your gas to carry around. So here's the point I'm making, and I'm going to come to some conclusion. Ultimately, is the consumer gets to decide whether or not he wants the packaging or he does not want the packaging.
Unfortunately, the shop like that.
Don't say that. Look,
True.
listen. Let me ask you a question. You're a consumer? You're a consumer?
Yes.
Are you buying based upon the packaging?
No.
Some of us.
What are we buying at first?
Price.
Price. Let me give you one. Huh? All right. Okay. Yes, let me hear my friend over here. Let's hear my little friend over here. Yeah, that's true. So let me tell you some research. Let me share some research with you, right? So let me explain to you some research, which is the motivations of buying, the different motivations. And guy is buying a Mercedes Benz and a BMW, not because he wants transportation to get from point A to point B. It's more prestige and self-esteem. And the guys who used to buy the rims, they buy a rims for 4,000 and they spend 15,000 rims. It's not because the car wants better rims. It's because he wants the car to look nice. And so his reason for buying is based upon his motivation. Maybe he doesn't have good self-esteem. Maybe he doesn't get recognition. And he thinks by having a nice car, nice speed, with rims will give self-esteem. Now listen to you. what I'm saying? No, listen carefully, listen carefully. Yeah, let me finish.
Like that, we have our product.
Yes.
Our focus that we want to sell so that our company is moving. How do we then compete with Hellman's Lane? How do we do
Great
Hellman's
question.
Lane with our little
How do you do it?
local product?
That's a great
Buy
question.
local.
No, let me answer. Let me ask. So how do you do your pricing? You have to always work backwards. So you say, I am doing honey. What is the price in Antigua for honey? Honey is a commodity. What does that mean? You have bee, you get honey. We have bee, they get honey. So if one guy over here is selling honey for 40, you're selling for 60, why does he need to buy from you? Is there a reason?
Yes.
What's the reason?
Sometimes I think.
Help me somebody.
Okay, I would say on.
No, let's
No,
go.
hold
So
on.
you were saying,
Hold on, let me explain myself.
Can be full of pollen and you don't tell you not, and your customer who have an allergy to pollen,
okay, but here's the question.
they can get sick.
Yeah,
I
okay.
have my quality.
You have the nicest honey, but when I have $100, school fee must come out, cell phone must come out, gas money must come out. So the only thing I can spend on honey is $10. Which one am I going to buy? No, but listen, let us be. I have diabetes, so I don't want to use sugar. But when I have to pay all my other bills, all that is remaining for honey is $10.
You buy the sugar.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yes, but nobody will sell your honey for $10.
That you have for a free honey. You have
It's like health food and junk
Mr.
food.
Joseph.
It's expensive and junk food.
So why you sell more junk food than health food?
You said one thing.
No.
When you have different target market.
Mr. Joseph, you said one thing. You're diabetic and you need the honey.
Yeah.
So out of that $100, if your doctor say you need the money and it costs
You're gonna buy the
$60, you're gonna sacrifice that because it's your health and your life.
I can't spend what I don't have.
Yeah.
Look,
You're gonna
And
sacrifice
something, but we have to look
listen,
now,
listen, listen.
a lot of people
I want,
suffer.
look at me. Listen, stay with me because I know why you have this point of view. Listen, stay with me. I want you to know a customer cannot spend what he does not have. And you cannot convince, look, let me explain something. When you put a product on the market, there are 3 reasons. I tell you, people have different motivations, right? But I can tell you what comes into the decision set. 1, quality of the product, the reputation of the brand, and the affordability of the consumer. You will listen to me?
Yes.
And I will tell you, packaging is a very low consideration. Listen. No. Let me explain something. I used to work for KFC, right? I used to live in the States. Do a lot of consumer research. You know Procter and Gamble?
Of course.
Procter and Gamble make about 400 different products, from toilet paper to palm olive soap and so forth. They do a lot of consumer research. They talk to consumers before they roll. They do Clorox, they do Swift, they do Procter and Gamble. I've worked with folks like that who do consumer research. Look, you have McDonald's, you have KFC, you have Taco Bell, a lot of competition. We know why consumers behave the way that they do. So I'm giving you some deep insights. Look, you're gonna sell more honey. Let me give you an example. Critical one. If I bring in an artist at Antigua Recreation Grounds for carnivals, and I charge $100 per person with the expectation that I will get 10 people. How much is that? 1,000. However, I drop the price down to $5. I may get 25 to 30 people. Which one is better?
The low price.
Because I'm going to make more money. Stay with me. By getting more pull, more demand. So when people, anything that is priced high outside the competition is what we call a niche market. BMW is a niche market. Mercedes-Benz, that's why Vitz is a mass market. Everybody have them. And unless you're making a highly differentiated product that has a good brand reputation, remember, you're a small farmer without a big industry, without marketing muscle, without advertising on radio and television to tell them and convince them. You're not going to convince them that your packaging will cause me to spend $20 more. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
You with me? Are you guys with me?
I understand what you're saying, but hear me out.
Yes.
Hear me out on this.
Yes.
I'm a vegetarian
Yes.
and you eat honey.
Yes.
And they usually say vegetarian
Yes.
is so expensive.
Yes.
Okay. So when I look at it,
Yes.
I don't see the way I am going back to eat those things.
Yes.
So I will have to keep on the high list
Yes.
because they're going to be for me.
Yes.
Okay, how are we going to measure that?
I'm glad you asked that question. And let me give you a practical example. There are two vegetarian persons who sell food. One stone and a lady right here. The lady right there is about 20 to 25% more expensive than one stone. Watch this, vegetarian. So one day I took my wife and I went by this lady here. And we bought, and one meal was about $40. My wife says to me, why is she so expensive? Why did you come here and not go what? Over there? And it pained me. Why? Because it's too expensive. Because at one stone, I can get a vegetarian meal for my health reasons at a much more what? Affordable price. But guess what? I would go to one stone 3 times per week and spend $25, $75. She ain't gonna see me again for another year. So who's losing out?
Well, that's the restaurant. That is just the meal. Okay.
What?
Okay. But then.
Follow my logic. Watch me. So watch me. Follow my logic. So for you expensive meal, you get one every 3 months. But one stone get 3 every week. Which is better?
And I bet it's even cheaper than what?
Okay, but what am I saying? Which is better? Now you understand me. So here's the
But
story.
then that won't let me change.
No, I'm not saying no change. I'm saying not you.
No, I mean that won't let people move to be vegetarian.
Yes, listen.
Chicken, dairy, and peas.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
But my beloved
right.
sister, the point is well made. You're going to maintain a vegetarian diet, but you will not be spending $75 a week with that. 40
No,
times
when
120. You're not spending, and let me do the math for you in the head. 120 a week, 10 a week, that's $1,200. $75 a week times 10.
that is
That's
prepared
$700.
meal. Okay, hear me now.
Am I right to say that? Am I right?
You're not
Let me see the hands of those
You're
persons who
not
said right.
getting what I'm saying. You're not getting what I'm saying. No, listen. Joseph,
Because
that
there's
is
always
buying.
Yes.
Listen very well. That is buying food to eat,
Yes,
take out.
right,
Cause then I go buy same.
yeah. So which is worse?
Hold on.
Sylvie, let's hear
I
my
bet
sister.
if I
Yeah,
purchase stuff,
yes,
we're talking about purchasing, not
Yes.
food, raw material.
yes,
A pack of peas is cheaper than a pound of chicken,
yes,
right?
yes,
And peas can give you several share
yes.
compared to a pound of chicken.
Let's stay here, let's stay here.
To compare to a pound of chicken.
Yes,
But then in their side, they say, why vegetables are not really expensive, man? But when you do the math,
yes,
vegetables way cheaper than what they would buy.
I got you.
Right. So you can't look at it like that.
How do you look at it? Who spends? You're selling, trying to make a profit. And guess what? If people don't come and buy what you prepared, it goes in the garbage and you waste.
Yeah, but it's the raw material I eat in.
Well, but yeah.
I eat it. I'm talking about me and my family
Okay,
now.
but see,
I eat in.
look, you didn't, girlfriend, you didn't create your business for you and your family. You created your business to make a profit and to bring people in. Are you kidding me? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm glad that we touched it because if you are working hard and it's costing you 40% for packages, I will tell you, you don't have a business model. And I can tell you, you can get 3,000 labels, 4,000 labels for about $50 US.
Is the what you call it, the template that we make.
I'm saying,
No, I'm just saying.
yeah, look here, we will explore
It's
together.
crazy.
You can get 3,000 labels for $50 US, 4,000 labels for 4,000 for $100 US. So the idea that the label is costing you 40%, and that's where the business piece comes in. Because you may have best product, but they can't move because you price yourself out the market. So we have to work backwards. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Very good. Yes.
Size and season.
Should not. Label price should not have anything to do with size and the season. You need to work backwards. You need to say, this is how I run my business. I'm selling products that people can go online to check, and listen to me carefully. If I'm selling a bottled water and a person can go online and get it cheaper in the house, why should they buy it from me? No reason. So I have to work backwards. I have to find a supplier that can give me equal or comparable bottled water at a cheaper price. So you can't just, you know what's happening? Let me tell you what's happening. Persons say, I need a label, this is what it costs me, and you jam the price onto the product, and that's what you sell for. No, you have to work backwards. I need to have a bottled water that can sell for $1.85 in the market because my nearest competitor is selling for $1.90. What does it take? Find packaging that will get you to that price point. The worst kind of, and you know what it comes back to? It comes back to pricing. This is how some people price products. People price products this way. This is what it costs me, and we put down something from a hard work and from a profit. Bad strategy. Bad strategy. Let me explain to you. Bad strategy. No. I see you. No. Bad strategy.
Just let them ask
Yeah.
the way I'm supposed to price it.
And that's the same example for a person who's, let's say you're going to say market and purchase something cheaper than what you buy. To ship it
Yes.
and pay your fee and your
Yes.
your custom cost, your
Yeah.
freight, right? It's still cheaper. It's still cheaper when landing here and you have it in the store. However,
Yes.
most store owners they look around and see what it costs. Because even when you come in, you bring in something in
Yes.
customs and you give them your
Yes.
invoice.
Yes.
What the customer have to say. When you go market, this is what they sell it for, and that's what they want charge you
on.
on cost, but
Right.
that is what, and that is what drives up your cost.
Because
Because
that
what
is
they
what-
want,
because they
what
have a
they
tariff
want to
book.
charge.
You're
Let me
supposed
answer
to check
you.
your
Let me
tariff
answer you.
book.
Let me answer you. Let me answer you.
Rob.
Let's stay with me, my girlfriend over here. No, let me answer your question. Remember I told you that people have different buying motives. So let me give you an example. I'm at home, the refrigerator stops working. I can go online and buy a refrigerator that would cost me shipping and duty. Stay with me, watch my logic. It would cost me 3,500. But I go into town and I see one for 4,500, $1,000 more. And I decide to buy the one in town. Why?
Convenience.
Hallelujah.
No.
Hallelujah. My buying motive in this instance is not based upon price, but I can't wait for 3 weeks for the stock to ship.
Yeah.
The shop, because I'm going to be stressed not having a place to put the meat. Here's my point. My point is buying motive is not always price. You have to know the reason why a consumer is making a decision to buy something. And it's not, if it's not price, it's convenience. If it's not convenience, it's quality.
So that to what she was saying.
Yes, but here. No, listen carefully. You know what you said? This is what my friend is saying. I want you to follow the logic. And then when you go home and you speak about it. Look, I'm selling water, she's selling water. Assuming that they're comparable and product quality. Her water is more expensive than mine simply because she has a more appealing and attractive bottle and a better label. I said comparable, right? And I'll tell you something about taste. So there are some persons who will be attracted by the attractiveness of the bottle. It may be 1 in 10. There's some person who would say, I like the packaging, but I can't afford it. So let me buy the one that I can afford. It is 6 in 10. So I'm not saying to you that they're not persons who are motivated to buy based on packaging. The strongest motivation to buy is based upon price and quality. It depends upon what it is. The cars don't have taste, right?
Quality.
What's
That
it?
does not sink in.
All right.
Right?
Yes. Hold on. Yes. Yes.
I know everybody has.
Yes.
It goes to school.
Yes.
Okay, shopping school thing.
Yes.
I might see a shoe
Yes.
selling for $65
Yes.
and one selling for
Yes.
$100.
Yes.
The one that is for $65 might last the child at 3 months,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
the other one might last
Whole year.
a year.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna want to buy that. I'm gonna
Yes.
buy the one for $100 something.
Yes.
Last
Yes.
for
Can I ask you a question? So let me ask you a question. You can buy the one for $130 because you have the money in your purse. The person that doesn't have $135 will have to buy 3 shoes.
Yes, because that's what they have at the time.
At the time.
Are you listening to what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
You're not listening to what I'm saying to you?
no,
Are you agreeing with me?
yes, I am.
That's the listen, stay with me. Look, I know I want to convince you. So look, at the end of the day, you know that the shoe is not gonna last. But he can't go to school bare feet. And you can't buy the Nike because you can't afford it. You just can't. So you're gonna have to grit your teeth and buy that one. And let me tell you something. Yeah. Let me tell you something. Well, they don't rule the house. I rule the house. When I buy a shoe, you wear that. And let me explain something to you. Listen carefully. There's some things that we call commodities. You know what a commodity is? Commodities are common things that we use. Whether or not it's demerara brown sugar or cellulose brown sugar, it's a commodity. It's brown sugar. You with the point I'm making?
Yes.
And if your brown sugar is 20% more than my brown sugar for a commodity, I'm not going there. You're with me? And remember, finally, also remember that we have minimum product standards that we have to reach. You can't, we're very lucky here, right? So let me explain something to you and then we finish. We're good. Remember, in order for you to ship something that is going to be sold as food and so forth, you have to pass FDA standards in America and other standards in other countries. Some of the stuff we do in Antigua could not get shipped out here because they have no certification. So when you get like sugar from Trinidad or Jamaica, you expect them to have certain standards. And it doesn't matter how nice your sugar looks, it's a commodity. It's something to sweeten your next beverage and make juice. Are you with me?
Yes.
And what counts, because you know, why should I pay more for my sugar to sell my juice? So my juice now, my little carrot juice in the bottle, I have to sell it for $10.50 because I'm buying them around with sugar. And the man down here buying his sugar for $9. From Florida. Are you with me?
Yes.
All right. So I hope I've helped you there. That's why I've come to help us. And what we need to do is work backwards. We need to say sugar coming in from Guyana is $1.99 a pound. What do we need to do to get us to 190? No, let me tell you something. I sat with the CMC board and with all of the farmers about 2 years ago. Because they came to the government and they said to the government, we should get protection to do poultry farm and to do the pigs. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that the population in Antigua and Barbuda will say it is okay for the farmers to say that they're selling their pork at $3 a pound when pork coming in at $1.50? And the only reason why we should buy it because it's local pork.
No way.
No.
It's not gonna happen. So what do we need to do? We need to reduce costs, come together, give them better price and feed, so that the overseas pork is $1.50 a pound and the Antigua pork is $1.75, 25 cents more. Well, we can make it work.
Can work.
Yes, it
We
can
like
work.
to come to beat the cost that
Yes,
they get. Why
we can
you think eggs is now
Yeah.
when I say say farm
Yourselves and have advocacy. Yes,
Dinosaur coming cheap from the
yes,
land.
yes.
Let's say there's a lot of farmer and I mean,
Yes. Yes.
so that's a cost of transport. Then the packaging material, bags and put they say one of the bags.
Yes.
Then labor
Yes.
is what
Yes.
well that the big size will cost more,
Yes.
right? How do I calculate selling that planted flower to make sure I am within the brackets of not being too much costier than the one that is coming, which is normally quite cheap to save, and still do not lose the
Great question. Great question. Thank you very much. So I'm walking you through the process. So the first thing you need to do is to establish what is the acceptable price in the market. So you say, okay, flour is selling an average of $3 a pound. You say, my flour, based upon all of my input costs, I can't sell it. Well, there are two things. Because sometimes you want to go for high margins or low margins. But let's assume it costs me $3.45 to produce 1 pound of flour. If you're going to be competitive, it means that you can only put 5 cents per pound. Not going to get scared. So there are two things, several things you can do. You start to work backwards. What percentage of my product is my packaging? 30%. You look at the competitor. What percentage of the packaging of the product is packaging? 1%. Not even 1%. I say to you, you can get thousands of packages for $100. Should not cost you 40%. So the first thing you need to do is to say, I need to source packaging that would cost no more than 2 cents per thing. That's one. The second thing you need to do is to say, my flour, I can afford to charge a better, higher price than my competitors because I have these unique advantages. It could be it's an organic flour, it's no gluten flour, it has shelf life of 3 months, and then because the competitor flour doesn't offer those attributes that the consumer wants. So it doesn't matter that you're vegetarian and there are only 100 of you. If the consumer 10,000 doesn't want that flour, you have no business. So you have all the love, all the nicest flour nice, my flour is healthy flour. But if the consumers don't vote with the pocket, there is no business. So what I'd like to be able to do is, in a specific case, work backwards. But on the packaging piece, I know you can go and get something competitive. Or you can, listen, let me give you an example. That's an idea. Bread is one of the main reasons for diabetes in Antigua. Bad. White flour, lard, and salt. We consume a lot of bread. Maybe there's a need in Antigua for a bread they call it speckle bread. Kind of bread that they bake with. Maybe there is something there. Maybe there is something there. So maybe what you should do, think about, is diversifying your business into a niche health kind of product where people pay more and still get the mass market. Am I making sense?
That's what we're trying to do, right? Each of the flour on the phone, right?
Yes.
I am compiling recipes and making stuff.
Yes.
For example, I did a presentation where I baked a cake,
Yes.
a vegan cake.
Yes.
It's just standard flour.
Yes.
It can be used to make dumpling on
Yes.
its own.
Yes.
Both the flour and the final.
Yes.
Redwood flour, same. Chicken flour, same. So they stand up pretty much on.
Yes.
And I have had flour down 3-4 months.
That's good. And that's a distinctive advantage. So you now can say, I'm able to charge $3 for my flour while they're charging $2.50 because I have some unique advantages. One is healthier, shelf life is longer, no weevil, and so forth and so on. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. How do we craft a business model that is unique to your own situation that gives you a competitive advantage in the market? Am I making sense?
Yeah, because I have seen, I grow planting.
Yeah.
I have had planted flower coming from Guyana.
Yes.
So I know how it is.
Yes.
And I know what it can be.
Yes.
But recently I've been into the supermarket looking for planting flower, and one from Antigua cost $36.
$36. Planting flower.
$36.
So listen,
Look, I'm
you
gonna
have
put
a
it back
business over here. $36 for planting flower.
with Antigua flag and
Yeah, go ahead. No, let me wrap up. Let me wrap up here. Look, I like the discussion we're having, and I think we've gotten off to a very good start. What you say? I want to help you to reach your own conclusions and decision, because we're going to get to a space where you'll be able to say, I believe if I do X and I do Y, I'll have a better business going forward. And remember, business is not an exact science. People have different opinions, people have different motivation, but I'm giving you the information for you to make your own decision as to the way forward. Have we gotten off to a good start? All right, very good. And I want you to come with your questions. I also want you to have an open mind to say, okay, let's look at it from a different angle. You with me? Sleep in it. You sleep in it and you wake next morning, because I want you to be successful. I want you to run your own business and do it well. And we're going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. All the time we make mistakes, but we learn from those mistakes. So when I was at the seminar, I almost cried, because listen, let me explain some things to you. When we do innovation at KFC or Pizza Hut or Taco Bell, before we go out and spend millions of dollars, we have to say, okay, what is Wendy's selling this for? What is McDonald's selling this for, right? And we cost out everything. Chicken, the packaging, the ketchup, the mayonnaise, the advertising. And if McDonald's is selling a chicken sandwich for $2.25, and because of the chicken that we use and the packaging that we use, we're coming in at $3, who's gonna come and buy your chicken sandwich for $3 when they can get one on the same corner for $2.25? You have to have a compelling reason to be charging more, especially for a new product that you don't have marketing power. You don't have marketing power. You're not in television. You're not trying to convince the consumer in your communication. So he's just seeing flour, packaging, and price. So you have to work backwards. But I'm going to be able to help you. Here's a nice packaging here. Very nice packaging. Beautiful packaging. Well, how much is the price of this if we didn't have such nice packaging? And can Granny, who like her nice planted forage, you with me? Can Granny afford to buy 3 every week, or Granny only buy the Christmas when she gets a little change? That's the decision. I'm telling you. So look at me. This is beautiful. This is nice. But Antigua is a small country, and sometimes people have to make ends meet. So this is very nice, but it comes down to affordability. Can I afford to buy it at $3 when one box of cream will give me 6 or 7 serving that costs $8? That's the decision I'm making. Am I making sense? These are very nice. How much is this selling for? Oh, Lord of mercy.
I was asking you. I have had no problem asking them, but I just don't.
How much you sell it a week?
That's the whole thing. Because I operate from home.
Okay. 25. Let's do. Okay, listen, let me ask you a question. Right? Let's ask a question.
Oh, this is not
Yeah. Yeah, listen up. Let me ask a question. And this is very, very good. No one can tell me that this packaging is not exceptionally good packaging. You would think that this came from America. Yes or no?
Yes.
We haven't tasted the product. $25. How does that make you feel?
Not too good. Not too comfortable.
You know, even if, look, this as it is. For me, how much? Let's say it weighs a half pound. But this is a feeling. Would you be comfortable going up to the cashier and she type in $25? In other words, it's about what the point is, right? With this packaging, maybe at $10, $12, I may go. For $25, it once every blue moon.
Yeah, that's how it's actually.
Yeah, but we're gonna work together. We're gonna work together. So what I'd love to be able to see, in other words, if you're selling an average 20 per week, you want to sell at least 100 per week. Because at the end of the day, and this yes.
Could just a suggestion.
Yes.
Locally.
Even if it's simple, it's simple.
No, but the colors, right? But
Yeah.
color card experience.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
why it's driving up the cost. If it was a simple black and white
Right.
label,
Yeah.
might be. No,
So
but
what is the decision we need to make? What is the decision that she needs to make?
Find another printer.
You can't print anything in Antigua. You should not be printing any label in Antigua. You can get 6,000, 7,000 labels from China or America for $100 US.
And the package.
Are you get where I'm coming from?
I
You
have,
agree with me?
yes.
You can get 4,000 of these for $100. By buying a printer, let me give you a story. Let me give you a story. I told you I have a little business, so I have to print my invoices, right? And I brought my printer from the US, and it was a color printer. And I noticed that ever so often I'm buying these cartridges that are so expensive. So I went back to the US and I said, I need to get another printer. You know what the guy told me? The guy says to me, you don't need to buy a color printer because you're not printing so often and it's expensive. You need to buy a black and white laser printer and it never dries up. So you don't have to use it for 2 years. And I don't need to print something in color to send an invoice. Am I making sense? Yeah. So what used to cost me $500 every 3 months because I have to buy ink is costing me to stand a penny to print an invoice. Why? Because I'm using pure black and white. So here's my point. We're going to work together. We can make sure that you can bring this price down to maybe $12. And when you go into Epicure and I'll be one of your first buyers, I may buy one to help you out, but not at $25 so often. And what you need is value.
That's why I wanted.
I'm here to help you speak. I'm here to
How do
help.
you couple, I mean, this is a problem I
Yes.
have with middle class.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
33.
Last question.
my problem with the middleman,
Yeah.
I have a supermarket, Bola, and purchase some of the capital. I was happy he paid me up front and everything, but it wasn't a problem. I wanted to see that volume. So as you said, my markup is already high. Because the size I sold, this size I sold for $12. And a big one for 25. So instead of selling it for 12, I said to him $11. He marked up $16. Wow.
Yep.
One I sell for 25, I sold it for 24. He marked $32.
Wow.
2 months later, it's still there.
That's it.
As I said, the shelf life is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it
Right.
spoiling
And that's my point. Markup.
Yeah,
what they
but
put
yeah.
on it.
The critical piece here. The critical piece here. What's the critical piece? Let's stand up and make the last point and we go. The critical piece, we always work what?
Backwards.
Not forward. So when we work up backwards, we know what price we have to land in order to turn the goods over. Have we had a good session today?
Yes.
Are we going to be here next week, Monday again? And on time, and we're going to have this rich discussion so we can clarify. Okay. May God bless you and keep you. May God cause his face to shine upon you. Drive safety. I'm enjoying the conversation and we're going to learn together. All right? All right. Have a